And welcome. Oh my God, Nelson.
Oh, my bad.
And welcome to the.
I had to keep the tradition alive. Always interrupt to Clayton, so I got to do it to you too.
Welcome to the Underbus Podcast. I'm your host, Merge. I'm sleep deprived and I'm losing my mind, but it's almost about that time. I am here with Nelson. It's just Nelson today, but what's going on, Nelson?
I'm hyped. Free agency is gonna be amazing just because the Lakers are gonna be right in the middle of it. The Lakers are free agency. This is great. This is not smoke without fire. This is smoke with fire.
Yeah. This is different than LaMarcus Aldridge to the Lakers. This is 1,000 times different.
This is way different. There is going to be no Mozgov or Dame deal, so that's promising already.
Yes.
This is going to be this is it. This is what the Lakers are preparing for. This is what D'Angelo Russell died for. This is
what maybe Baron Ingram's going to die for, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah. I mean, this is what the culmination of all these years has been leading up to. And this isn't even Lakers exceptionalism anymore. It's just
it's real.
It's just pure unadulterated hype that is like legit, and there are enough sources and outlets talking about it that it's just great, man. It's great to hear that the Lakers are not talking about like legitimately good players. The Lakers have really good prospects and all, but it's really good to get your hands on something that's known. You know, that there's no better feeling. And this is what the Lakers really are. They may not be great at it all the time, like getting stars, but this is
this is why the Lakers got Magic Johnson. Let's just say that.
Yeah, this is why the Lakers did everything that they did. This is why they clean house. This is why they traded all the players that they traded. This is why they've been drafting the way that they've been drafting. I mean, this is what it all leads up to. This is why the Lakers developed this like process like mentality to focus more on free agency instead of developing its own players. Now it's just all about swinging for the fences. So I'm excited.
Yeah, man. It's the next what's today, the 28th?
28th.
The next, I'd say 7 days are gonna be insane.
I will say Merge is for all accounts just a dying man. Like his soul is leaving his body. He cannot handle any.
I just need something to happen. Okay. Let's start off with this and give us let's get some happiness started off real fast.
Right.
The Lakers have waived Tyler Ennis. Let's celebrate that for a second.
I'm hyped. When I read that, I was like, the Lakers already made a huge step forward in the roster without even doing anything. They just said, Tyler Ennis, you're not good at basketball. We tried. You're not good. You're just not good, buddy. And shout out to the homie who has a podcast, who has a pretty big one that said Tyler Ennis should be playing more. He was completely wrong. He got cut for a reason. Tyler Ennis got no playing time on the Bucks for a reason, and he shouldn't be playing on the Lakers. The Lakers are trying to make the playoffs, either with or without free agent signings.
Yeah. And
Tyler Ennis can't play basketball, so you need more players that play basketball. And the Lakers have Alex Caruso,
the god.
Very, pure,
third,
excellent tweeter during the World Cup. Had that tweet about going after Swedish girls.
Oh, that made me love him even more.
That's my point guard. That's my backup point guard. Yeah,
my balding 24-year-old.
Yeah, and he may be the Lakers starting point guard next year if Lonzo gets traded as well. We'll get more to that later. But
Alex Caruso is the starting point guard. I don't know what I would do. I'm either really extremely happy because that means we got everybody, or we just got nobody and we traded Lonzo for like Bradley Beal or something.
Being more realistic, he's probably going to be like the third guard next year.
Yeah.
Probably. Like unless they unexpectedly sign someone.
They're gonna sign somebody, but he'll be a third string guy.
Yeah.
We'll get to that later. But there's a lot of backup point guard we can probably sign, but they're nowhere close to the top of the list. when it comes to free agency right now.
The Lakers they took a flyer on Ennis, did not work out. You just move on, just cut your losses at this point.
Yeah.
It's great that we have one less terrible basketball player on our team.
There we go. So yeah, thanks, I guess, Tyler Ennis for providing us with multiple memes and Twitter sadness throughout the last 2 years. And for letting our friend Nas or Opinions on the NBA have a bunch of content to tweet out about him on our Twitter and stuff like that. All right, let's move on to what you guys came here for. Let's be honest, you guys don't give a shit about Tyler Ennis. Where does this start? Does it start yesterday or does it start today?
This starts like how many weeks ago? Like
I think it started yesterday when it came out that the Spurs are willing to trade with the Lakers now. They're willing to talk to the Lakers now about Kawhi Leonard, which came as a surprise to me. I thought they were gonna hold a little steadier and kind of wait a lot longer until they broke to the Lakers.
Yeah, but they can't though.
No, they can't. I mean, if this gets dragged out, the less and less Kawhi will get. And especially if Paul George signs before, and especially if Paul George signs to the Lakers, because that just gives an example of someone who got traded even though they wanted to come to the Lakers, and then they came to the Lakers, and teams wouldn't want to do that, you know?
Yeah.
We've seen already with the Boston Celtics. Let me start with this. Woj has pretty much turned into the burner account for 3 different teams. He's leaking information for the Lakers, for the Spurs, and for the Celtics. Also, the whole Lakers are under pressure to trade for Kawhi thing. That was 100%, in my opinion at least, a Spurs ploy to gain leverage. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah. They're not. The Lakers should not be under pressure, and I mean, I kind of tweeted this out to Clayton a little bit yesterday, and I mean, I know it's probably a little bit outrageous, but I feel that like if Lakers don't get Paul George or LeBron, that they go even harder at Kawhi and the price gets raised. You know, I actually think that's something that happens because Lakers now missed out on 2 stars, and Lakers really want stars, right? So the Spurs then, and they're like, okay, well you want him, well now he's gonna be more. Like, what are you gonna do about it? We know you want this guy, and although it does allow the Lakers to sign Kawhi next season as well, but I feel like as far as how likely a trade is, I feel like it's more likely, but the price will be steeper because now the Spurs see the Lakers and they're like and Magic's like desire to get stars, right? And so they'll be like, all right, we'll be willing to give up this and this and this, something that we were not willing to give up before, you know.
Something to add. From what Woj has reported has been the offer from the Lakers is Brandon Ingram and a future first. How close to what the actual value of a trade would be do you think Ingram and a first is?
I think that's. Wait, was it just Ingram?
It was just Ingram and 1 first. From what I saw, I think. I
feel like the Lakers might need to go a bit higher.
Oh yeah, I agree.
I know that.
I didn't think Ingram and that would be enough. If they can get Kawhi for just Ingram and a pick, I'm jumping for joy. Yeah, I love Brandon, but Kawhi is pretty much what you want. What Brandon's ceiling is, you know?
Yeah,
that's pretty much what his ceiling outcome would be. So, you do that instantly, and again, I love Bi. I think Bi is going to be an all-star. I think he'll be an all-star as soon as the next 2 years. But
I feel like the trade is probably going to be something along the lines of Brandon Ingram, Kyle, and two first. That's what I think. I think that's the line where the Spurs eventually meet the Lakers because Lakers can't afford to give up Josh Hart. No. Josh Hart's more valuable than the two unprotected first round picks.
100%. He is so he's gonna be so valuable in the playoffs. It's not
even that he's like gonna be the superstar or even the star, right? But
perfect complement to LeBron.
Perfect, yeah. You're right. And from the bench, he just provides something that the Cavs could never find. The Cavs could never find. Yeah, exactly. And Hart's already showing some promise, added some creation elements.
Yeah.
So with that all bundled together, you get a player that the Cavs can never find for LeBron.
I mean,
And
that could be our like Iguodala.
Yeah, and
know?
yeah, and I mean, they tried to find out with Rodney Hood. They tried that with Rodney Hood and Jordan Clarkson and Larry Nance to try to bundle all these guys together to get what Josh Hart can do, and they just really couldn't do that.
Yeah.
And so I think that in itself is just more valuable than first. So I wouldn't mind giving that up. And although Kyle is important, I feel that like drafting Mo Wagner now, I think it allows for us to maybe not.
Yeah, Mo definitely does give us some positional 3-point shooting at the 4-5. And Kuzma, I'm higher on Mo's shooting immediatally than I think some are. I think he's going to come in and be a good shooter, or a league average shooter, I should say.
He has to be more than that though to be really effective though.
Oh yeah. I don't think he's gonna play a ton. I think he'll play like 10 to 15 minutes at most. But we'll get to the draft guys.
But I mean like so they just drafted someone who theoretically, right, he spaces the floor.
Yeah.
And it doesn't provide that much value on defense. Well, Kuzma has more options to score, right? But he also is a liability on defense somewhere, right? Although Kuzma does offer more theoretical defensive potential, right? Just because he's a wing. Yeah, and his size and his ability, and his feet. They don't drag all the time like Wagner's, but we'll get to it later. So I wouldn't mind losing him so much now that we have a floor spacing big, you know. So then the real loss would only be Brandon Ingram.
I agree.
That one hurts. That one's gonna hurt a lot.
It 100% will.
And
he's been our guy for the last 2 years.
I'm gonna drop this take, and I'm gonna say I rather trade Lonzo Ball than Brandon Ingram.
No,
I get the whole Lonzo Ball glue guy.
He's
right?
the perfect LeBron guy. He's the perfect LeBron guy, man.
I understand that. One, there's some baggage with the dad, and maybe LeBron doesn't want to put up with that. I'm just throwing that out there.
I doubt that.
I'm not saying that's going to be a swing factor, but at the end, LeBron is going to have heavy power in the front office, whether we like it or not.
No, he will, but I mean, he likes Lonzo. Like,
I'm not saying that he's going to just like outright trade him.
Right.
But I'm just saying that like, I like Brandon Ingram's more developed as a shooter. Like he's already had I feel like his shooting's gonna be better than Lonzo's next year. Although Lonzo should take strides, right? I just have more confidence in Lonzo's shot. And Brandon Ingram can defend, he can score, he can shoot.
Here's my thing with Ingram.
And he's a third-year guy, and in their third year, that's when they put it all together.
Here's
your fourth year, like it took with Randall, but regardless.
Here's my thing with Ingram next to stars. I think Ingram is a guy that needs the ball in his hands. And he doesn't provide a ton, or the Lakers haven't used him a ton off the ball, except for those lobs that he does. He just seems like a guy that they would stick in the corner. Like I just think Lonzo is more valuable in that same role, and he's a better defender. I mean, I just think like Lonzo was a plus player while having terrible offensive numbers.
Right.
And also, I heard the Spurs don't want Lonzo. They don't want to deal with LeVar.
Right? No. This is just what I would want to deal. I like Ingram's. I get how good Lonzo was last year, and I'm not here trying to discredit what he did last year. I am really terrified of what Ingram's going to be when he puts it all together this third year, fourth year.
I 100% agree that Ingram's going to be a better player than Lonzo. I think, or that he has the potential to, at the very least. I'm not doubting that at all.
Yeah.
But this is a very extreme example. But this is like putting someone like. Imagine if James Harden was James Harden on that 3-star Thunder team. Do you think he gets the ball if he is anything close to what he is right now if he's on that 3-star team with two guys who need the ball in their hand? I don't think so.
But you can figure it out.
You can make a good coach.
This team would have LeBron James, and LeBron James would figure it out. He would not. He would, as much as LeBron likes to have the ball in his hands, he would not. He's developed as a shooter over time. Like now, he can legitimately shoot 3-pointers.
A good coach would be able to find that. And I love Luke, and I think Luke is a good coach. I don't know how fast he'll be able to. I think Ingram's a great cutter, and I think the Lakers don't use him enough as a cutter, to be honest. Same with Lonzo, and it was the same thing with D'Angelo. Yeah, I don't want to really go down that rabbit hole, but the Lakers have a lot of good cutters. I mean, look at the team. Like Ingram, Lonzo, Kuzma's pretty good at cutting. Josh Hart's really good at cutting.
Right.
At times, Julius can be good at cutting.
Right.
I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, it's tough because this is the price that you pay, and I don't mind paying it, Ingram. I just if the Spurs were to theoretically say, all right, you guys can either trade Ingram or Lonzo, I'd keep Ingram and trade Lonzo. That's just me though.
I get it. Like I understand, and I mean, a good coach, if you have so much talent out there, a good coach will be able to figure out how to utilize that talent. And LeBron is one of the smartest basketball players ever.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if you could figure out. I just think it's less of a likelihood in my opinion.
No, yeah, definitely. So I think talking about the price now and losing Ingram, it's hard because he was the
second
guy, the second number one second overall pick.
Yeah.
And he was like the second true building block. You know, as much as we love Julius, he wasn't really considered.
He wasn't seen as that until this year, honestly.
Yeah. Not even that. Like I mean, as in a cornerstone guy.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and Lonzo and Ingram especially was drafted to be that.
Yeah.
And so also D'Angelo, but I don't want to get sad.
Yeah.
I mean, like the loss will be heavy, and I'm terrified of what the Spurs can do with a guy like Ingram. But this is the cost of doing business, and I feel like getting Ingram, Kuzma in 2 seconds is what is that, like 40 cents on the dollar? 50
yeah.
cents?
Oh yeah, 100%. I think Ingram, Kuzma, and it'll be two first rounders. It'll be two.
Yeah.
But 2 first rounders. 2019, 2021. That's what it would have to be, or they would trade for a pick, which we'll get into in a second. I think that is what it ends up being. I think the Lakers should and they will try to sneak Dang in there, and maybe they do that by getting that pick or using that pick to go somewhere else, or getting Dang to be a part of that trade with that pick. Let me actually clarify what I'm talking about. There's a rumor, I think it was Tim Bontemps, was the one that tweeted out that the Lakers and Nuggets are talking about a deal which would send a combination of Wilson Chandler, Kenneth Faried, and Darrell Arthur with a first round pick over to the Lakers. I'm assuming it would be for Luol Deng if it'd be more than one guy coming over to the Lakers, because I don't know what else they'd really trade him unless it's like Zubac in a second or something like that, or like I don't know, something in the second, something small in a second. I don't really see it being anything else besides Luol Deng. So what do you think or what do you think of like that deal together? And I think if they do get that pick, they would use it to either trade Deng or add it onto a Kawhi trade.
Right. So the Lakers would be doing what with all the salaries that they get from them?
Well, I think that if it's Wilson Chandler, you keep him. I think Wilson Chandler is actually a good player. If it's Faried and Arthur, I think what they do is buy them out, or maybe they attach one of those guys to that pick or two with Luol Deng, maybe, but. I think the other two guys. I think
that's a lot of salary to take.
I think Faried or Darrell Arthur, would get cut. I think Wilson Chandler would get kept on the team.
Yeah. That wouldn't be. I wouldn't mind keeping Wilson. But yeah, I mean anything that can get Lakers that extra asset to really acquire Kawhi would be of help. I think it's fine. I think adding a quality guy like Wilson is good. Wait, but in this trade, they can add Wilson's salary and still get the 3 of those guys.
Oh no! Like they would. Oh, what do you mean? Like they'd be able to add Wilson Chandler and be able to get LeBron and Kawhi, or some combo. That's a tough. I think that's. I think the person who would be it'd be more of a Julius question than if you can add the 2 question. Okay. If you add that extra salary and Julius doesn't take the qualifying offer, which we can get into again, you wouldn't be able to keep Julius unless you like traded everybody.
Right.
Like if you traded everybody and you kept like Julius and like Josh Hart, then you'd be able to give Josh Hart a Julius Randle a $12 million deal.
Right.
I don't see Lakers doing that.
No.
Trading everybody. Because it pretty much be for and this was actually for all 3. If you get all 3, if you add those 3 and you if you add the big 3 and you keep Julius and Josh Hart, and I think you'd have something like $4 million left. And you have to fill out your team with minimum guys, which is another thing with the three guys, which worries me, is that you lose depth. And I don't, as good as those 3 players are, do you see just those 3 and 2 young guys and a bunch of minimum guys making a run? Because I don't.
I think, probably not.
I mean, I guess it matters who the minimum guys are, because I mean, I'm sure there'll be a lot of guys, a lot of vets who will be willing to take a pay cut to, and you also have the MLE too, but to take a pay cut to join the Lakers. I mean, there's a tweet. It's Alex Kennedy, but he said several veterans have told him that they'd settle for minimum deal to join the Lakers if they land LeBron. Which, I mean, maybe that would be guys like I don't know, like maybe you can get someone like a Richard Mbamute, or maybe you can get someone like Will Barton whose market has dried up, or someone Tyreek Evans whose market has dried up, or someone like that. Maybe you can end up getting Dwayne Wade or something like that. Then maybe, and then you take like Brooke on an MLE. Then I think maybe, but it's just tough. I don't want to like play those 3 guys to death, especially in the regular season.
The thing is that you really can't. There's no other way to do this. Like, you just can't.
If you get all 3, which I think is a very small possibility of happening, like a 5 or 10% chance of happening. We get all 3.
Yeah, and that's very true. Because if Kawhi's gonna come, it has to come via trade over the summer.
Yeah, according to Reed, we will not be able to sign him outright if we in next offseason.
And Kawhi is not taking a pay cut.
No, there's no way. He's taking the full max.
Yeah, he's taking the full max, and
rightfully so.
He deserves it. He deserves. If he's healthy, he deserves every penny.
100%.
So I mean, the problem is that you just get LeBron and Paul George. The thing
or
is
LeBron and Kawhi.
Yeah. Right. That'd be a scenario.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, you're right. It's really tough because I just don't think that gets it done. But then also, like,
I think LeBron and Kawhi, or LeBron and Paul George, and the young guys gets it done. Personally, like I think you can challenge the Warriors with LeBron, Kawhi, Lonzo, Josh Hart, Julius Randle, Brooke Lopez. I'm guessing you time the MLE and some minimums, and depending on the minimums again, I think you can compete with that team. Because a final lineup of Lonzo, Hart, LeBron, or Paul George, LeBron, Julius, like you can't tell me that's not an insane lineup right there.
It is an insane lineup. The issue is, does that still beat the Warriors though?
I think it could. I think the Warriors are getting complacent, and I think that team would be better than the Rockets.
Probably, yeah, but yeah. I mean, I definitely see that, but you're definitely banking on players developing.
Yeah, and I mean,
which is not a for sure thing.
It's not a for sure thing, but
but next year, those guys are not contending. That's pretty clear, right?
What guys?
Like, that lineup they mentioned, that'd be in 2 years. because although Ingram is going to make a big step next year, he's still not going to be ready to really be that guy.
Wait. The one I mentioned?
Yeah.
I said Lonzo, Hart, PG, Julius, and Randall. I'm sorry, PG, LeBron, and Randall. Ingram. Oh, sorry, not PG. Take PG out. Put Kawhi in for PG. Ingram's over in San Antonio.
And Kyle Kuzma. Oh.
And Kyle Kuzma's over in San Antonio.
Okay.
I think that team can run with the Warriors. I think that 5 could run with the Warriors and 5.
No, yeah, definitely. They'll definitely push them.
Because you can stick Kawhi on KD. You can stick Lonzo on Steph. You can stick Josh Hart on Clay. You put Julius on Draymond, and you probably put LeBron on whoever's out there. Iguodala, Jordan Bell, whoever's out there.
Right.
And
you just really named all the Warriors, and it's just terrifying. It's still terrifying. It's really not helping. It's not helping, Ridge.
You got to remember how good Kawhi is against LeBron, against Durant.
Okay. I know Lonzo's really good, but at the point of attack, that's going to be an issue.
Or you stick Josh Hart on Steph.
I'd probably feel better about that.
And you put Lonzo on Clay.
But still, this is still troubling.
No,
not good. Not good, Bob.
I'm not saying that all of them at their best wouldn't beat the Lakers. I'm saying I can see that the Warriors getting lazy.
They'd push the Warriors. They would push the Warriors.
And I think that would be enough, honestly. And then natural progression again for the young guys. I think that pushed them over the edge in 2019. Am I wrong?
I think we're not factoring the fact that the Warriors are going to get Anthony Davis.
Oh my! Shut the fuck up!
I don't think that we're factoring that enough.
They're not getting Anthony Davis. Shut up.
People said about Kevin Durant.
It's not gonna happen.
I don't know. Draymond and Steve Kerr aren't getting along.
They'd have to lose Draymond and Clay for that to happen. You know that, right?
Hey man, I think it was pretty good at basketball.
It would be 3 guys over 30 mil.
Hey man, I'm just saying. What if Clay takes that pay cut?
Okay. That's a variable that
no. I'm definitely just exaggerating, but they'll definitely push the Warriors, and it'll be interesting, and they'll get them a series. And LeBron's gonna be great. LeBron's gonna be LeBron. It's just that's gonna be their first year merge, and we know how this goes. We've seen this movie play out.
Okay. Do you think that team is better or worse than having Paul George and keeping Kuzma and Ingram? So you would end with a line of like
no, the first year, but the second year, I think that you get equal value.
Equal value. So you
equal value with better chemistry.
Do you think that one of those two teams matches up better with the Warriors, or is it pretty much the same?
I think you talk about depth, and one team has more depth than the other. And although it's gonna take Ingram a long time to get to Kawhi's level, I think.
So say the final lineup would be something like Lonzo, Ingram, Paul George, LeBron, and Randall.
God help me. That's pretty scary, man. Paul George is pretty good at basketball.
Oh no, that guy is pretty good at basketball.
LeBron's pretty good.
Yeah.
So Lonzo's gonna be pretty good by then. Ingram's gonna be good too. I'm just saying. Kyle Kuzma's off the bench.
Honestly,
God help benches.
That is my best case scenario. I think I've lost confidence in Paul George. I think that's why I'm sort of leaning towards the Kawhi side.
You're definitely underrating Paul George. I know he's not as good as Kawhi.
No. I'm not. No. I think I'm just more confident that Kawhi is gonna be a Laker than Paul George right now. But I mean, obviously,
really,
that could change. That could change at any point.
I am in any direction. I think you've seen that Paul George documentary a little too many times.
I've watched it one time each.
It feels like you watched it more because I think it's much more likely that the Lakers sign Paul George.
Do you still think Paul George is a Laker?
Yeah.
But you think so? Okay.
It's a 70% chance, and
Wow, you're at 70%?
I'm at 70.
Like nothing.
I'm
has
sorry,
gone
you do not make. Paul George does not make a documentary series if you're not coming to the Lakers.
You see, that's what I thought too. I think, and you're right. Look, I could just be taking everything that he's putting on there.
I'm a Barcelona fan. I'm a Barcelona fan. I've grew up watching them, and Antoine Griezmann, he had a chance to go to Barcelona. He made this whole documentary. At the end of it, he said that he's staying with Atletico. It hurt my heart. So I've been through it, and I feel it. But Paul George, he's just there's so many hints. It's been going on for so long. Like you just don't do that. You can't, like, he loves LA and he loves like everything that comes with LA. Do you really think he wants to be hated by the Lakers fans? Because that's what's gonna happen. He knows what's gonna happen. Exactly. Merge.
Even if he comes next year, it wouldn't be the same.
Merge. He's pretty much already a Laker. He's making a big show about this. He's already a Laker. Like this is what Lakers do. They make a big show about everything. This is what he's doing. It's pretty clear.
I think I've let people like Royce Young and Ry Cole get to me, and I'm like buying it a little bit to what they're saying, but then I remember, wait a second, Royce Young is a Thunder writer, and wait a second, Ry Cole just is always exaggerating everything. So,
I'm just saying that this has been going on for too long, and
there's a lot of hints, a lot of perfectly viable hints. And
too many hints. Throughout the whole season, everything like him hugging his mom and dad at the Laker game. Come on, Merge. Come on, man. It's just it's there.
Him smiling during the "We Want PG" chants.
It's there, Merge. It's there. You're
whatever. Him and Josh Hart playing Fortnite.
You're talking yourself back into it like that because it's there. It's there, Merge.
It's
a 70% chance.
The
Lakers are still the favorites, are they not?
Yes, they're still favorites.
There you go.
I think it's a little closer than it used to be, but
you just said that the Lakers are more likely to sign Kawhi, and that's where I highly disagree.
Trade for Kawhi.
Yeah,
not sign Kawhi.
Right. Get Kawhi. So you're banking on this one, the Spurs settling, which is still up in the air.
I don't think it's settling. I don't think any other team's gonna offer the same value that we.
That's very true. There's been a lot of smoke out there. Like the Celtics were reported to be in for Paul George, and what their package is.
Danny Ainge does not take risks, man. Danny Ainge does not take risks. He goes with the safer thing every single time. That's his MO, and rightfully so. He has two guys who look to be surefire all stars, in Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, and you have Kyrie. From what I've heard, that if they would trade with them, it's going to be centered around Kyrie,
which is sad.
Which is so. It's ruthless, man.
Hey, but Danny Ainge is about that life. He loved Isaiah Thomas, and he traded him for Kyrie in a heartbeat.
And then he'd flip Kyrie for Kawhi. That'd be ruthless, man. But I don't see him doing it.
Right.
I think it's too much of a risk that they wouldn't have Kyrie or Kawhi after 2018. That's too much.
What about Philly? Philly's the other team that legitimately
they're not willing to add Fultz, I think.
Is that a deal breaker? I don't think it is.
Do you think Rocco and Saric in a pick is better than the Lakers offer of Ingram, Kuzma, and 2 first rounders?
Saric, no.
I think Kuzma and Saric cancel each other out.
But the thing is, how much value does Fultz have in the trade market?
I think a decent amount. I think more than Saric and Covington, honestly.
I mean, probably, but he's still such a question mark.
He is,
but for like good or bad, like he's such a question mark.
I think he's still their third best asset after Kawhi, after Ben and Joel. You know,
no, definitely, because especially since they invested so much in him.
Mm-hmm. And, but I mean, they did dangle him during the draft, so I guess you never know. I just don't think they offer. I think they're lowballing a little too low. Like, they don't have much leverage in this trade. I think the Lakers still have the most leverage just because Kawhi won't commit.
To
anywhere but LA. I think, I don't know. Like I said, I miss a little, and it might just be me overreacting to all the PG, my journey stuff and all of the other stuff on Twitter. But it just my mood today is is that Kawhi's gonna be a Laker more.
Merge, get some sleep, and you'll
Ben is
feel
gonna
better
be
about
a
this.
Laker. But I wanted to do all of the big name guys in order, but we kind of jumbled them all together. Let's talk about Julius a little bit more. Thaddeus Young today picked up his option with the Pacers. I think the Pacers were a team that we kind of thought might be interested in Julius. It came out today that they want to go after Aaron Gordon with the money they have, which I think is a fine.
Also talked about going after Marcus Smart.
Yep, that's another one. Those are two guys who are going to cost some decent change, especially Gordon, because I think he's going to cost 20 mil.
And Marcus probably around the 13-14 range.
Yeah, I agree. So I don't think Julius is in their radar anymore. I think DeAndre is going to be a Maverick within the next 3 or 4 days. That's like everywhere now. I don't see how DeAndre doesn't become a Maverick again. I mean, I said that 2 years ago, but it just seems like the Clippers don't want him. They traded for Gortat. And once DeAndre is signed or is traded over there, signed and traded over there, or he picks up his option and is traded over there, there won't be enough cap room. One, there won't be enough cap room to get Julius, and two, do you really want to pair those two together when you're a guy like Carlisle who really loves spacing, and Dennis Smith isn't a sure shooter yet. Who knows if Luka is immediately a great shooter? And then you have Wes Matthews as your only other shooter. I think he'd rather have Harrison Barnes out there at the 4 alongside DeAndre, and at least you have the shooting with Harrison Barnes.
Yeah.
After that, is there a team that you think would go after him? Because I don't think so. The only other team that has cap space is Atlanta, and they have John Collins.
Does Brooklyn have any cap space?
Not really. They just traded for Dwight, and Dwight was more money, I think.
Oh, that's true.
And even if Dwight isn't a net, he's gonna get bought out, and it's still on their cap, obviously.
Yeah.
I don't think there isn't any other team that I think he fits on, or that has cap space. I think the Knicks, he'd be a decent fit, but now that they have Kevin Knox, I think Kevin Knox might end up playing some more 4 than some feel, and then KP would push up to the 5 a little bit more. Also, they still have Frank, and they still have who else do they have? Am I missing someone? They still have, what's his name's contract? Joe Kim's contract, obviously.
Yeah.
Hardaway. And Cantor's contract, Hardaway's contract. God, they suck. And there's no other team that I think goes for him. I think Julius might end up being squeezed for the QO or a 4 for 40 deal. And we talked about this in the Slack. It's kind of sad for Julius. Because
it really is, because he transformed his body, like, legitimately.
He was a good player last year.
Yeah.
And as much as some people want to, try to throw up defensive numbers up there, I still think a lot of the defensive numbers came to he was given a huge role on offense in the second half of the season. A lot of people got hurt, so he had to play. He played every single game. That's another one.
Yeah.
If you play him on a team with 2 stars, he's not going to have anything near the usage he was having in LA. I can look that up real fast, but I just think it would give him time. It would give him the right mindset to lock in on being a good defender. And, just playing the role that he would be in. He'd be the defender, rebounder, third, fourth, third. You think him or Paul George is a better passer?
Who? Oh,
Julius or Paul George?
Paul George.
Paul George?
Just because of the gravity.
He'd be like the third or fourth ball handler, or playmaker on there. That he wouldn't need to have playmaking responsibilities, except for maybe on like touch passes or dump offs or something. I just think the role would be reduced so much that he would pretty much have to just focus in on being a great defender and being a great rebounder that he already is, and being a great just like ball mover, and he'd be a great pick and roll partner with LeBron. And I think Julius was one of the best in the league in points per possession on pick and rolls, something like that.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, I just think that he's a perfect fit. He isn't a perfect fit for the team, but I think he is the type of guy you want because of his switching, because of his ability to switch, and as a guy who faced the most switches in the league last year, he just fits the brand of basketball that you want on defense at least, and he's a guy that I think deserves all the. I just don't want him to be on a bad team. I think he deserves to be on a good team, and to be on this squad because he was that guy that he really is the last piece of the Mitch and Jim era. Him and Ingram, right?
Yeah.
And I still see Ingram as the next part of the rebuild as opposed to the Clarkson, D'Angelo, Julius era. You know, the Luke era. I should say he was a Luke draft pick, Brandon. I think that was Luke's first year in LA. So I just think he can still fill that like Lamar Odom role for this team, you know? And I think he's gonna end up getting squeezed for a smaller contract too.
Yeah, I mean he's at 11 million, like he's such a bargain. And he worked his ass off. He got in shape, he improved everything, he accepted his role. He just became a better player, a better person in the locker room, a better player in general, and he really deserves more money than he's going to get. 11 million for Julius Randle is a steal, especially since
it's a bargain.
23, and he can still improve. Like he hasn't peaked yet. How much he can improve is still up in there, but he still can improve in some areas that will make him even more of a versatile player. And I mean, he's the guy that you want. He's the guy that you want depth wise. He can fit that Tristan Thompson role. You know, of attacking the glass hard, switching better than Tristan did. Lacking a little bit of size, but making it up with more toughness in general, in my opinion.
Yeah,
and just incredibly strong, runs the floor well, runs the floor even better than Tristan. I mean, like he'd be a great pairing for LeBron, especially if he keeps working on that jump shot, just keeps working on it. And I mean, he is running out of suitors. Like he's just running out of suitors, like flat out.
Yeah.
The Mavs for some reason want to go after DeAndre. I don't know why. Do not understand that fit whatsoever.
I really like it with Luka and DSJ. Honestly,
I'd rather bet on Julius and just make Lakers.
I mean, I guess I get it. By the way, for some just for some context, Julius was the third in usage on the team, and this was behind really second because Jordan Clarkson was number 2. You take him out, and number 1 is Isaiah Thomas. So you can really take that out as well.
Yeah.
Julius was pretty much the most usage out of anyone on the team, and I guarantee if you go through just his last 3 months, he had the highest usage on the team.
Yeah.
So I 100% think he would not have anything close to a 25 usage. He'd have something like, let's see, Ingram had a 22.2 usage. Lonzo only had a 17.4 usage. Wow, that's crazy. So I think he'd be somewhere at like 19-20% usage. That's compared to 25. He wouldn't have the ball in his hands as much. He wouldn't have to focus. All he really have to focus on is setting hard screens, defending, passing the ball well, rolling to the basket hard, finishing the ball. And again, he was one of the best finishers in the league last year. And having that with LeBron James, who can give you the ball from anywhere is so useful. And if you can get him for 4 and 40 or 4 and 45 or the qualifying offer and trying to just re-sign him next year, I mean, you have to do it. I still think he's a must to come back for this team to be a contender.
Yeah.
Maybe it's my Julius bias, but I mean, are you in the same boat as me?
I don't think he's a must, but I think he's a really good player and a guy that provides winning basketball, right? Yeah. So yeah, I think he would help the Lakers and he provide depth and is a key player in that. But you know, if you're able to get that third star and you lose Julius, like that's not as big of a loss, you know. Although you do need like depth to. I do understand like what you're getting at. But I mean, and if you get him at that low price, I feel like he really is a must.
You know? Yeah, and I think that it's getting to that point already. And free agency hasn't even started. That he's gonna not have a lot of guys, a lot of suitors after him, just from a money standpoint. All right, before we move on to the draft stuff, I want to make, just in case we don't have a podcast before free agency, we want to have one on the 30th, right before free agency starts. Hopefully when Clayton's back, but just in case we don't, make your prediction for the big name guys if they're back or not. So I'll just say this: is Kawhi a Laker next year?
No.
Is LeBron a Laker?
Yes.
Is Paul George a Laker?
Yes.
Is Julius Randle a Laker?
Yes.
All right. I think I'm. Man, the Kawhi trade changes a lot if it does, because two of these guys are going to be gone. I was going to say is Ingram or is Kuz a Laker, but that's pretty much asking is if Kawhi's a Laker or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think we get Paul George and LeBron still. With a little doubt in PG and a little more optimism in Kawhi, but I still think I still think it's those two.
If we get LeBron and Paul George, I'm right to the hills and not happy. If we get Kawhi,
as well or instead of,
it'd probably be instead of for me.
Yeah.
I just like keeping my options open.
Yeah, you know, and I mean, you can always try to go and get a Jimmy Butler if you really want one, or a Klay Thompson,
Klay staying.
Or who am I missing? Well, I guess Kawhi. Kawhi's also a free agent as well.
Kawhi's also a free agent, yeah. So yeah, I do not mind one bit banking on Ingram and Lonzo to develop to boost your championship odds.
Especially we got to remember, think of what Al Horford and Kyrie did for Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum and Terry Rozier, and think of what LeBron could do for those young guys, you know?
Yeah.
And I mean, he can probably do more than those two combined in terms of creating more options for the other guys, because everyone's gonna crash in on LeBron. Also, how weird is it gonna be if LeBron comes? How weird is it gonna be to see him in a Laker jersey?
It's 9 out of 10 weird. Like
it's gonna be so weird, man.
It's like he was arch nemesis of Kobe, and I never thought we'd ever be in a conversation for LeBron. Although more towards these last following years, I've been like, oh, okay, like it makes sense for a final destination, you know, especially within everything that transpired. But yeah, it's gonna be the weirdest thing. You just always root against LeBron. You never root for LeBron.
It's gonna be so weird. It's gonna be insane watching him again if we do get him. It's gonna be insane watching him on a nightly basis.
You know what, Merge? I'm gonna change my prediction. I'm gonna say the Lakers and doing the Brandon Ingram, Kyle Kuzma, and 2 first-round picks trade.
So wait, so do you think all three?
All three are Lakers. That is my
yes.
Man. I'm not gonna. This is not what I want, but I'm just thinking realistically. And there's been so much traction, like with the Spurs coming back to the Lakers.
That's crazy. How
I think it's there.
Realistically,
that's I know, but I think that's like my most likely outcome. I just feel like
imagine the final lineup of Lonzo, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, LeBron James, and Julius Randle. Just imagine that in your head. Like,
oh God, Spice.
Oh my God.
I'm just saying that starting lineup. It's
and then I would think that the Lakers they would probably use their MLE on Brooke, right? Like they'd probably try to sign someone. I wouldn't mind having Dwayne Wade off the bench if we I think he can still provide more as like 18 to 22 minutes as a backup point guard.
Okay, Merch.
What? I think he could.
Okay,
as a backup, I'm not saying give him starter minutes. I'm not saying to play him like just play him in the role he was in Miami. This most recent Miami. let's just move on.
He's willing to do that. He's willing to pay. He's willing to play 10 minutes.
Yeah, and I think he'd be good for 120-point game in the playoffs.
I don't feel good about it, but
like he did last year with against the Sixers. He had that one game where he scored like 30.
That's fine. I guess it wouldn't be so bad on a minimum backup point guard.
10 or 15 to 20 minutes
doesn't become, because he was part of the problem with the Cavs this year.
He was, but I think it was.
I'm not saying it was like the only reason, but it was like one of the reasons.
I just think the culture was a little toxic.
I don't really want any of the Banabo crew here, man. If
you have, it's Los Angeles too. I mean, you gotta think he was living in Cleveland.
Yeah,
that's another thing. I don't know. It's just an idea. Like it's just I don't know.
I'm sure it's out there. It's out there, Merch. All right, you know what? Hey, you're not reaching. All right, and yeah. It may not be my thing I want the most, but I get what you're getting at.
We'd be building like the 2012 All-Star team.
just don't bring Carmelo.
Oh yeah, leave him over with Russell, so they can shoot. Imagine how many shots Carmelo's gonna take next year if they lose PG.
I'm watching a lot of OKC basketball. I like watching dumpster fires. It's fun.
All right, let's move on to the. Want to go draft first or summer league first? Or you know, we can do this. I'll go over to summer league roster and we'll get to go over the guys we did draft.
Okay.
Let's start with Josh Hart while I find the full roster. So let's start with Josh Hart. What do you? Josh Hart is only. Josh is only going to play 2 games, one in the Vegas Summer League and one in the Sacramento Summer League. But in those 2 games, what do you want to see from him?
I just want to see more creation. That's what I want to see. Because I know he can shoot it, and I know they can defend. Cool. I want to see you expand your game. This is what I'm hoping for. This is why he's such a key cog and why he's such an important piece to me. As the rotation player, it's cool that he can do 2 skills really well. But I want to see if he can do more than that. And he's been working. He gave interviews. He gave the little little fluff piece article quote that he's working. I want to see it. If he is, he becomes that more valuable to Lakers. But if he's not, I mean, I'm not going to trade him or anything, or he doesn't become unplayable. But you want to see him develop more in those aspects, and that'll be very crucial for Lakers going forward as a even better role player than he already was.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with everything you said there. I want to see. One specific skill I really want to see is off the dribble shooting.
You mean like pull-up jumpers?
Yeah, well, pull-up jumpers or like runners or leaners or like teardrop, something like that.
Yeah,
I think something off the dribble it would really just really add to his offensive arsenal, and especially when he's attacking closeouts and stuff like that. I think a pull-up jumper or a little floater would really just add a lot to his game. But again, if he doesn't add it, he's still just a spot-up shooter who's a really good defender. Like that's still valuable.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to Thomas Bryant. Thomas Bryant has been a favorite of a lot of Laker fans the whole season. Just seeing him dominate in the G League was a lot of fun. So what do you want to see from Thomas this summer league?
I just want to see continued shooting. Let's see what kind of strides he's made on defense as far as foot speed goes, and just see him become much more productive. Because he was productive in the G League. Now
he was dominant. In the G League, man.
Yeah, but so was Zubac. So you want to see him make sure that he does.
No, I know.
So I want to see him do well this year. Just keep progressing and not take that second year step back that Zubac did. I just want to see him keep building off of that. And I do like once we get to the drafted guys, then you'll hear more about this. But I really do like his skill set in general, and I feel like he's already a stretch big who can play, make some, and provide energy, and that's great bench celebrations.
Yes, we need the bench celebrations.
Of course.
Yeah, I think the thing I want to see most is the defense. I want to see if he's a little more not active isn't the word I'm looking for. I just want to know that he's there.
Yeah.
Like he knows what's going on, if you know what I mean. So he understands the coverages, and he understands everything that he has to do. I want to see if he's improved at all as a perimeter defender, which is important now for big men. There's been videos of him like doing some pickup games, stuff like that, and him like he was like taking stuff off the dribble and stuff like that. Like, that dude is such a weird and interesting prospect because he's a big man who has so many guard skills. Yeah. Especially when it comes to his shot, because his shot looks like a guard. Like you can probably run him off screens if you really wanted to, and have him run a pin down and shoot like that.
Yeah,
which is so weird. But the defense is such a big thing for him getting minutes, which is why I'm really focusing on that.
Yeah.
Moving on, Alex Caruso, I think we can both agree the one thing we want to see is just aggressiveness. That's really the only thing for him, I think. Not that he's a perfect player. I just don't think he can really get better at the things he's already good at. So I just want to see him be more aggressive and translate it to the NBA. Because that was the big difference between him in the G League and him in the NBA. He was so aggressive in the G League. He was awesome. He was awesome in the G League because he was just so aggressive and shooting the ball and attacking the rim, and was just really active on offense. I really want to see that in the NBA. So I hope he just brings that same intensity that he did in the G League. Do you agree with that?
100%. Yeah, he's going to be a guard for Lakers next season on that two-way contract. That's really valuable, and you want to see him expand on the skills, just stay aggressive and just really accept that bench mentality. Just keep going along with it.
I actually hope he's on the active roster next year, but I will bring that up again and later in on this list. Let's move on to some of the guys we have drafted. Let's start with 25th pick out of Michigan, big man Mo Wagner. Now, I know I think we've all been doing a deep dive on him after we drafted him. So let's start with what you don't like.
Oh, where do I start on this? Okay, so Mo Wagner, I saw the numbers that Tim put out and looked very promising. I went back, saw some film. Not all of it, but saw some film.
Yeah.
The foot speed is an issue, and although it is more of a technique issue, and if he does polish his technique a little bit more, he can increase it a tad bit more, and with development and with the conditioning, he can improve it somewhat. I just still concerns about it. I just he can hedge on some screen on some pick and rolls, but you do not want him on straight switches. And
you don't want him on straight switches on non-straight line drivers, because I think he can handle a guy going one way, but training speeds is a whole different thing.
Right. And all I'm going to say is going to be from a concept of winning basketball. In the regular season, I'm sure coming off the bench, playing against bench guards, I'm sure it'll be different, right? But I'm just talking about like more towards the playoffs, because remember, I'm operating from the viewpoint that LeBron, Paul George, and Kawhi Leonard are coming to the Lakers.
Right.
This is my viewpoint. Or even if Paul George, LeBron comes, if that comes, that's like my second most likely scenario. Just LeBron and Paul George comes. Lakers are going to be in the playoffs, and you don't draft someone with the 25th pick to not play him in the playoffs, right? So to be able to play him, his foot team's going to have to improve, and on straight switches when he's playing against the elite guards of the West, like Dame, CJ, Steph Curry, all his guards. Teams know how to stagger the minutes, right? Yeah. And especially with Portland, who has those two dynamic guards, and they're probably going to make a change this year, so I don't want to speak for sure, but
they're probably a team we would probably meet in the first round.
Yeah,
too.
But look, and there are like very few centers that can truly like put up a fight against these kind of guards, right? So it's not too big of a deal, but he will get roasted going 1-on-1 with the elite guards of the NBA. Like that's not we're not really going to argue that, right?
So pretty much it's defense. Right?
Yeah, pretty much defense, because his offensive game, he can shoot it. I'm not going to deny that. He can space the floor, and that in itself is a great quality, right?
Yeah.
It's not just floor spacing from a mid-range. He can shoot the three-point shot.
He can shoot.
Yeah, he's a better Tom Welsh. Like I said, he's like a billionaire's version of Tom Welsh, right? So he can stand out there, stretch the floor, run around, pick and pops. His handle is overrated. I'm sorry. I saw the behind the back move. I've seen the highlights. they're cool.
He does that though. Like, that's why he doesn't. He didn't just do that once. He does that.
Right? Yeah,
that's his move.
Yeah, but how effective is it going to be in the NBA where players are stronger and more athletic? You know what I mean? Like it's that is his move, and it's going to be
it's also probably bench babes though. You got to think about that.
Right. That is true, but as rotations come in, he's going to have to play some time. And I'm just thinking about this about him playing as a starter because Merge, he's a first round pick. Like,
oh come on, not all first round pick. Like lottery guys are who you bet to be starters.
Right. No, definitely. But I mean, if he's going to be higher up the rotation, that means he gets more playing time. If he gets more playing time, more of a chance that he has to play against better players.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So and you're right. Just because he's a first rounder doesn't mean he has to be a starter. But like a player like Josh Hart was really high up in the rotation last year.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think we also both had Josh Hart in the top 20 though.
Right. Yeah. I had D'Anthony Melton in top 15. We're not gonna
shut up.
We're not gonna do it. I'm not
talk about it.
I'm not gonna do it. All right. I'm not gonna do it because
yeah.
The draft is over. All right, so
it's over.
It happened. So I feel like fine about the pick.
Mm-hmm.
It Lakers passed on some better guys, but as a player in general, like the one true skill that he brings, spacing the floor, is promising. You hope that it's not a dumpster fire on defense. I think it won't completely be. I see some promising signs there. As far as playmaking and his handle and all this kind of stuff.
Think that the passing, I think he's gonna show his passing a lot more in the NBA. That's what I think.
That's the area where you ask me like what I want to see. That's what I want to see, right?
The playmaking and defense.
Yeah, the playmaking. Not so much the defense, just because I don't think that right now it's gonna be better than the film that I just saw. Right.
I think the thing I want to see mostly for defense is the switching, just because Michigan was not a defense that switched a lot.
Yeah, and that's where I'm worried because I don't think it's going to be promising, and that's going to lead to me probably overreacting. So that's what I'm afraid of because I don't want to cast a judgment. Like I was very reactive during the draft.
Yeah,
because we passed on D'Anthony Melton, and I thought
twice.
Twice.
But I actually really like the guy that they drafted at 38. But we can talk about him after.
No, yeah. I Merge.
I know.
I like Bonga Lassie. I like Bonga entering the draft. I like him as a late first round flyer.
We'll talk about him more, but
okay.
Just talk about Mo Wagner.
Oh, okay. So he can shoot the 3-point ball.
Yes.
I think his handle for what everyone's talking about it being like he had some legitimate high points with it. I just question the effectiveness in the NBA. And in general, like I have some concerns about him, right? Like on defense and on the playmaking aspect. So I think he can show more in that end. I'm gonna reserve some judgment for summer league and not be as reactive as I was. So I'm just gonna I'll take a deep breath. He can shoot the ball. That's already important. We'll see how he performs in summer league as far as the nuanced skills go. But he's a stretch big, a modern day stretch big, right? He's like a poor man's version of our market, and if we can get that, that's a pretty good value for the 25th pick, I guess.
This is what I think. Why I'm a little more optimistic on him. I think it's more his mentality and his personality. Like you see him. No. He's a guy that's not. He isn't gonna. He's gonna go 100% the whole time. He's not gonna be lazy. He's gonna try. That's a big thing. I mean, he's a guy that I think is gonna provide a lot of energy, just from his personality and just from hustle plays. I think he already has the right mindset on what he knows he's bad at, and what he's trying to improve on. I can't remember where I saw this or heard this, but he said like he's been working on the switching is the thing that he's been focusing on a lot in his workouts. And obviously you can't really emulate NBA switching in practices, but he knows what he's bad at. He's recognized it. He's trying to improve on it. I don't think he's ever going to be an average defender. Let's just say that. But if he can just be salvageable, and I think his offensive upside is, I'm higher on the offensive upside than you are, obviously. I like the handle more than you do. I like the shooting. I don't think you're not high on the shooting. You're high on the shooting, but
I'm high on the shooting for sure. He's gonna be able to shoot the 3-point at a 40% clip.
He might be able to be a guy you can run off screens too.
I do not question that. I think that's down the line, and if he doesn't develop that range, I think it's totally possible.
I think he has some moves down low. He isn't efficient, but he has good footwork.
Isn't really tough on that end either.
He isn't really tough down there. On defense at least, I think he. For some reason on offense he's a little tougher down there, but it's not really a comparison. But I think he was like one of the best in college basketball at attacking closeouts. He's really good at attacking closeouts. He's also really good in transition. I believe Pete Zayas had a video on him Monday, and I think he had something that he was like in the 100th percentile in transition scoring. I'm guessing it was a small sample size, but I think there's a lot of promise on that end. Not starter promise. I still don't think he's a guy with starter upside. I think he's going to be a guy that you would ideally want 15, 20 minutes of out in the court as a stretch 5. I do not think he's a 4. I've seen people say that he's a 4. He's not a 4. I don't trust him against 4s. I'd rather have him against 5s. And yeah, I was disappointed that we didn't get Melton and we didn't get Evans or Okobo or guys like that. But I think we should give
or Robert Williams. Just saying.
Yeah, I think there's reason for Robert Williams actually. I think he has some legit issues, personality wise and attitude wise. But I think
I just can't wait for him to be the best big in this class when he goes to the Celtics. That statement's going to be irrelevant.
That's neither here nor there. But I mean, I've warmed up to the idea. I don't think it was the best pick there, but I don't think it was a reach. I think he was. It's
definitely a C minus D plus pick. Like it's a. Like,
I wouldn't go below a C.
I'm just saying that when we look back at the value that's going to return, like in hindsight, it's going to look better. Like it's going to look worse. That's why. I
mean, maybe, but maybe not. We thought this was with Kuzma, but I think I think the sky department deserves a little bit of benefit of the doubt. If they strike out, they strike out. But I just want to see him play. I
know the sky. Look, don't get me wrong. Like everyone's like, oh, shouldn't we be giving the sky department the benefit of the doubt? Or should we give them the benefit of the doubt? And then like I understand why, because they've been so successful. Especially with late round guys producing, like increasing their value, like guys like Larry Nance. We're like, oh, who's Larry Nance? We did this with Kyle Kuzma. We did the whole live reaction. Who the fuck is Kyle Kuzma? Yeah. Why they dropped him? Right? We did this whole charade. This kind of pick, it doesn't seem to have, like, he's just not going to be the next Kyle Kuzma. Like I feel pretty confident saying that, and maybe he just shocks the world. He has a good. He has a great personality. He's already fitting in with Laker culture that they've already established there. So from that aspect, I get why the Lakers made the pick.
Oh, and he's 100% going to be a guy that fans of other teams cannot stand because he looks like that kind of guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I really didn't like him at Michigan either.
Yeah, so, exactly. And but if he's making plays for your team, then it's a lot different,
Yeah.
But yeah, let's move on to a guy who we're probably not going to see until Las Vegas.
My son.
But German guard wing. He's a ball handler. Let's say that he's a German ball handler. With a 39th pick, right? Or 38th. 39th pick. Isaac Bonga from Germany, only 18 and a half years old. He will play in this year's summer league. He'll play in Las Vegas. I'm really excited to watch him play. He's probably the guy I'm most excited for.
I'm hyped.
Again, 6'8", maybe I've heard 6'10" as well. And he can still be growing. With a 7'2" wingspan, from what I've heard reported.
Indeed.
It's really long arms. I'm so excited to watch him play. He was a lotto projected guy by Draft Express coming into the season.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why he dropped. Was it injury? Did he just not play enough? I don't remember, but
that and combined with the fact that
he's just really raw.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think the upside's there, man. So talk about Isaac Bonga.
A point forward. That's it. I'm hyped. I'm sold. I love point forwards.
Yeah.
That it's so exciting to see a tall man dribble and play make. And Isaac Bonga he's first of all great name. Like let's just get that out of the way. Great name. They can finally get a really good name. We can make bongo jokes all the time. Like he provides so much upside in that aspect that he was like immediately worth a flyer in that aspect. Second of all, like he has really good playmaking. Like his handles maybe not up to chops, but he has like really good vision. His jump shot's still in development.
He has his feel is great. That's what I love because he knows like what he's doing.
Yeah, and that's important because you gotta know how to play basketball.
Exactly.
That's pretty important. Mo Wagner knows how to play basketball. Mm-hmm. Isaac Bonga knows how to play basketball. Svi knows how to play some basketball.
Yeah.
So that's promising. So back to Bonga. I'm really excited for pretty much like because if you look at his tape, there's a lot of flashy like upside he plays, and of course it's not consistent, and he doesn't get much playing time at all.
Mm-hmm.
And he is like still really raw, but he's a great guy to take a flyer on, and I really like what the scouting department did here. They banked on a wing who can play make, and that's really valuable in the NBA right now.
Right.
Whether his jump shot comes and goes at this point in the second round pick, you could take that kind of flyer. There was better value still here to be taken, but I like the flyer like with everything.
I wouldn't be surprised if we look back in this draft in like 5 to 7 years and say, yeah, Isaac Bonga was a first round pick. I wouldn't be surprised.
No, it definitely wouldn't.
Yeah.
But I definitely wouldn't be surprised to say that Deontay was one of the top 10 players of this class.
I don't know about that, but
okay, maybe that's a stretch, but maybe
top 15. Okay, fine. You can say top 15. Maybe yeah. I think the value was great here because I think there's a lot of guys who should have got drafted a lot higher in this draft than they should have. There's a lot of guys I think, but and there's a lot of guys that shouldn't have gotten drafted as high as they should have. Shout out to Okogie. Shout out to Grayson Allen. Shout out to Aaron Holiday. Shout out to maybe Anthony Simons, even though I like the Simons. But I like the upside of him. Is there like an NBA player that comes to mind when you watch him?
Not immediately.
The first one that came to mind sort of was Sean Livingston, because of tall point guard, good feel for the game, bad jump shot. Except for he doesn't have the mid range game, obviously that Livingston does, but I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I sort of see Bonga as a 6-man role for Lakers in 2 to 3 years, like 3 or 4 years, something like that. As a guy just to play make off the bench. Hopefully, the free throw shooting is real.
How about a not slow Kyle Anderson?
I can see that. I can see a little more athletic, a little quicker slow mo. That'd be a great get,
especially second round.
Even though Kyle Anderson isn't, the flashiest, he's still a first round pick, I think, right? I mean, if you go back in that draft, I'm pretty sure he's still a first round pick. And I'm sure he'd be a good player on any good team, or at least a rotation guy. I can see a slow mo. I can see the Livingston. Do you see him at all as a point guard? Because I know a lot of places where he was drafted, it said point guard with him.
No, I just don't think he will play that.
I think he has the feel and the vision of a point guard, but it's the handle,
Yeah, it's just not cut up to what his game is. And but I mean, although he probably is gonna play some, he's a 3 right now.
Yeah, he might play some 4 if he can bulk up,
Yeah.
But I think a little bit of optimism you can take from any sort of shooting. The shot doesn't look good, but free throw shooting 90%, which is probably a small sample size as well, but it's still 90%. That's something you can probably build on. But yeah, I'm really excited just to see how close or how far away he is in the summer league.
Right.
Because I mean, if he comes in and dominates, or actually, do you think he's in the G League this year? Do you think he is on, like, he's in America, or do you think he's a guy who will be still in Germany for another year or two, or do you think he does that here?
Ideally, I'd probably want him to do it here.
Yeah, I would too, because I think we need strength and conditioning guys with him immediately.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think a year or two in South Bay would be awesome because one, I can watch all the games and watch him and actually watch his games.
Yeah.
And two, I just think again the strength and conditioning, shooting coaches here, I think would just be a huge help for him, and it would sort of accelerate the process a little bit more than being in Germany. All right, let's move on to the guy who I think will be the most impactful rookie in year one, and Svi Mikhailuk from Kansas. I think he just turned 21. Super young senior. He came into Kansas when he was 16. Played his first game when he was 17. 4-year guy. Great, incredible shooter. I think I saw something that Cran just tweeted out that all 4 years in Kansas, he shot over 50% on open 3-point shots, which is absolutely insane. And I think there's a lot of skill that is hidden, and maybe not a lot. A lot might be pushing it, but he has a lot. He has skill that he didn't show a lot of in Kansas, and we saw a lot of that in Eurobasket or Euroball with Ukraine. So, what do you think about Svi?
Good shooter, really good shooter.
Yep.
I
may add T-Rex. He's a physical embodiment of a T-Rex.
Legitimately a -3.
This isn't Julius. This is a legit T-Rex.
Yeah, he legit. His arms are legitimately like his wingspan.
6'8" with a 6'5" wingspan.
Yeah, that's not good. Not good, Bob. Not good for closeouts. Not good for defense.
It's crazy because if he had just a 6'8" wingspan, I feel like he would have went a lot higher, which is weird to say because I think there's a decent offensive upside for him.
The guy who you're describing right now is Kevin Huerter.
Yeah, he pretty much like he's a poor man's Kevin Huerter with shorter arms. That's really what he is.
Pretty much, but
because he has that off the dribble play.
But that length does make a difference, Merge. Like
defense, yeah.
You can't say just so casually. Like it makes a difference.
No, 100%.
Upside wise,
yeah. I do think he's a better defender than people think he will be. Because he's not gonna be a dumpster fire for sure. I think he'll be salvageable for a off the bench guy. Yeah. And he's strangely a lot. I was watching some of his highlights on YouTube, and he has a lot of highlights of him catching lobs, doing two-handed dunks, which is like maybe you can use that in transition. He's the guy who has a good handle. I think he was the second highest assist guy at Kansas. Granted, it was only like 3 assists, and Kansas didn't really have a ton of ball movement. I mean, Devontae Graham was their number 1 assist guy, and I think he only averaged like 4 or 5, and he had the ball in his hand a lot. But I think I've seen him make some passes that kind of like raise your eyebrows. That you're like, oh, okay, so he has that, and I just think he's gonna get the most minutes out of the 3 that we've talked about this year. Obviously, Isaac Bonga, I don't think he will be here at all in the first season unless he's way ahead of what we saw. I think he's the guy that, especially next to LeBron, throw him out there for 5 minutes with LeBron. I'm sure LeBron will get him 3 to 5 open 3-pointers. Yeah,
for sure.
And for a guy that knocked down half of his open 3-pointers in college, and he shot a ton from NBA. Like he launches it. Like, he's the guy that like has a pretty decent range out there. I just think he's gonna be the most impactful guy of the 3 that I said. I think he'll get the most minutes of the 3 rookies. And yeah, I think he's gonna be a lot of fun, honestly. Especially, and I wouldn't be surprised in summer league if he like has a 30-point game or something like that.
But you actually think that Svi is gonna get the most minutes?
Yes, I think Svi's gonna get the most minutes.
Wow,
of the 3. I don't think the deficiencies are as big for him.
I see. I caught the pun. Big, as in Moritz Wagner is a big. Good one, Merch.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I mean, I definitely see it, especially if we don't get too many quality minimum guys. You know.
And I mean, if we get a bunch of minimum guys, I mean, those two guys might not get a ton of minutes to start with, but I think for a team that struggled with shooting last year, and you might be getting the greatest passer of all time on your team,
Right.
You saw what he can do with shooters. He isn't Kyle Korver by any stretch, but I mean, if he can get an open three, I'll take that with Svi, you know.
Yeah, and on switches, he does have some good tendencies. He does have some good techniques that makes him not a tire fire on that end. So that's promising.
Yeah, he played the four a lot in Kansas apparently,
Yeah.
because they had no bigs.
Yeah.
Like I mean, over the past,
hopefully he comes in with the confident, like strong mentality.
Yeah.
Because as a shooter, that's really important, and that's pretty much what he's banking on to make his NBA career.
What do you what is there a thing that you want to see from him the most in summer league?
Just keep shooting the ball.
Keep shooting the ball, yeah.
That's like the main thing. Just keep like rough start, good start. Just keep shooting the ball. That's what I want to see, because that's important. That's the mentality that you really need to have when it comes down to shooting important 3-pointers, even when they're not going in.
I 100% agree on that. Moving on to a guy that the Lakers signed to a two-way deal like 30 minutes after the draft ended. A guy that I was high on for in that 45-ish range. Malik Newman, guard from Kansas, former 5-star recruit. I think he was the number 1 point guard in the nation when in his draft class or in his recruiting class. Started with Mississippi State, correct?
Yeah,
I think that's where he started. He transferred to Kansas, sat 1 year out. 6'3" guard he's a scorer. Plain and simple. He is a scorer. That's what he is. And he's really good at scoring the ball. That's what he's best at. I think he shot over 40% from three at Kansas. There was a game against Duke where he exploded for 30 plus. So what do you first, do you like the signing of him as a two-way, and what do you see from him?
Fantastic signing as a two-way.
Yes.
Fantastic.
I agree. I think
should have been drafted in that 50 to 40 range.
Yep.
Was not drafted. I think he's an NBA player.
Apparently, he was a guy that the Lakers they would have picked him if Svi wasn't there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there a specific reason that you see that he's an NBA player?
Can shoot off the dribble.
Yep.
Can shoot 3-pointers.
Yep.
Can create some out of the pick and roll.
Mm-hmm.
He was in the 94th percentile out of the pick and roll, which is really impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, like, he had Devontae Graham on his team, and he still averaged 14.2 points.
Yeah.
Per game. And he can't score. Like, he's a gunner. Like, my boy does not care. Like, he's gonna get shots up, which is good and bad. But like at this point, to have like this kind of dynamic score, like it's just so promising. And my boy Jonathan Sharks gave him the stamp of approval, so you know that the Lakers did well when they signed a Sharks guy.
Yeah.
And I mean, like,
and I believe Sam Vecini said he was the best undrafted free agent that signed as well.
Yeah, easily. This guy was a highly touted prospect.
Yeah.
Coming into I think it was the 2017 draft.
16. I think he was in Josh. No.
Well, Simmons' class.
I'll look it up. Go ahead. Keep on talking about him.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, he was highly touted for a reason. He could score. He's athletic and finish at the rim. Some. I mean, for a backup point guard, like he can score so much, but he just really like he can only defend on ones, which is the issue.
Class of 2015.
There you go. He
was in college for 3 years, pretty much, but he only played 2.
Okay.
Because he sat out that second year so he can play at Kansas.
Yeah. I think the thing I'm looking forward for him is making sure that shooting is up, and how much creation can he have for others. One, the two biggest keys. One, creation for others. Two, how bad does he get killed on switches?
Yeah.
Because
I mean,
right now he can only guard ones, and that's an issue.
Well, yeah, for sure. He was the number 10 guy in his class, the number 1 in his position.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find the class. I think 2015, that class was the Lonzo class, right?
Yeah.
No. Lonzo was number 1. Number 1 point guard. That wasn't the Lonzo class. That was the Ingram class. Yes, that was the Ingram class, 100%. That was the Brandon Ingram class. So that was the class with Ben Simmons and with Jamal Murray and people like that. I think, that he's the guy that I just, from a pure scoring standpoint, like he's a guy that I just think is a 3-level scorer. I think he did sometimes gun it a little bit, and I mean that's expected from him. You can see he's a guy that just guns it, you know.
Yeah.
But like a guy that I want to see in summer league, especially when Josh Hart isn't playing. I want to see some creation for others. I want to see if he built on those any point guard skills that he had coming out of high school. But coming out of high school, he was touted to be like the best shooter in the class.
Yeah,
like he was that good of a shooter, like over guys like Jamal Murray, like I said, like
and Luke Kennard.
And Luke Kennard, he was supposed to be
the white LeBron James.
Oh, yeah, white LeBron James. He was like supposed to be the best shooter in this class. So just bring more shooting. Hopefully, he has more creation skills. Hopefully, he attacks the rim a little more because he was really good at it in college. He just didn't attempt it as much. Yeah. He got shot. I think I saw somewhere that 53% of his shots were from 3-point line last season.
Yeah,
which is a lot. But I mean, when you shoot 40% from the three, that I get it. So he's a great two-way guy to have on. He's gonna kill it in the G League. Like I'm sure he's gonna average like 20 a game, I think, down there.
Yeah.
Moving on, let's talk about a guy that I have gotten really excited about over the past few days. He's a guy that I hope can get a two-way spot and bump Caruso up to the full roster. It is Malik Pope from San Diego State, 4-year senior. 6'8" with a 7'2" wingspan. He's a 3-4, probably more of a 4 in the NBA who can handle, he can shoot the ball. He had decent defensive numbers in college. He was a guy that shout out to Chad Ford, who had him as a lotto guy in his freshman year.
Yeah.
I still think he should have got drafted. I think there's too much skill there. So what do you like? Well, first, do you like the bringing him on, and what do you see from him?
Love the flyer.
Yep,
I really do. 6'10", 7'2" wingspan, size. Mm-hmm. You can defend a lot of players, and he showed that in college, especially when San Diego State played Duke. Mm-hmm. He was hanging tough with Jahlil Okafor, a guy who, for whatever you want to say about him,
he was an amazing post scorer in college, like amazing.
Yeah, that's undisputed. And the problem is that he just never really
stayed healthy.
Yeah, never really stayed healthy or could ever sustain any consistency, you know.
Uh-huh.
But I just he just had so much potential, and I think it's still there. You know, as a defender, he's so raw, right? Like so raw.
Yeah.
And he got set back so long. But like he's like a guy like Bruno Caboclo, whatever.
I think he's more
right. He's more polished, which is not saying much, but still saying something.
Yeah.
So he has like a bunch of theoretical upside, and for an undrafted guy, like I'd take that swing, like any day of the week, right? Like he's long, he's athletic,
for sure,
and he's explosive, and his shot, it was never consistent, but he has like some touch to it, right?
Yeah.
He can handle some and protect the rim, you know. So I like if he's ever able to put it all together to stay healthy, Lakers should for sure take a swing on him, get the second contract. I think it'll be worth it.
Yeah, I think so too. I just think purely from just an upside guy, I really want him at the very least on the South Bay Lakers. But I feel like someone would swoop him up if he isn't signed by the Lakers. He's a 6'10" guy and he has handle too. Like he can handle the ball for a guy his size.
Yeah.
And he also has some pretty decent vision as well. There's a video that I believe it was at Hoop Details tweeted out of his playmaking, and he made some really nice reads down low to like other big men. He played a lot of 5 this year for San Diego State, which I don't see him doing in the NBA unless it's a small ball lineup, and even then he'll have to bulk up to be a guy who can consistently play a small ball 5.
Yeah.
I think he's something like 205 pounds, something like that, 210. And I don't remember who said this. I think it was Mike Garcia. I think he was on Lakers Outsiders podcast last night. He said that Malik Pope was something like in the 90th percentile in post defense last year. And that's insane for a guy with his frame because he's a frail guy.
Really, really needs to work on his frame.
And I don't know how he was a 90th percentile guy in post defense, which is it's remarkable to me. I just think there's too much skill there to not be honed in, you know. And I think it would be smart for the Lakers to try to find these diamonds in the rough, especially when we're trying to sign these guys with giant contracts. You know, if you can find like a rotation player who doesn't cost anything, that's such a huge plus. You know. Like that's why I'm so like I want Lakers to buy picks, or I want the Lakers to really be active in the undrafted free agent market, or really smartly choose their two-way contracts, you know. And I think stuff like that is really important because again, you don't want to have to pay a lot of your players a lot of money. If you can find bargain guys who can help your team, then that just helps the team out a whole bunch more, you know. I think he's a really good pickup. Is there anyone else? I'm gonna list a bunch of guys. Tell me if you know anything about them. Joel Berry II. Do you know much about Joel Berry?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Joel Berry, really good college basketball player. Probably not an NBA player, but it'll be fun to see him do some stuff. He's a good basketball player, but not a good NBA player.
Yeah,
or will be on it. Or I doubt that he'll ever be on an NBA roster. So you know, it'll be cool to see him. He wreaked havoc in college. He crushed some of the teams that I was rooting for in the NCAA tournament. So it'll be cool. It'll be cool to be rooting for him a bit. You know,
right. Jeffrey Carroll from Oklahoma State. The Lakers signed him to a what was it called? A Rule 10 contract.
Yeah.
Do you have you watched any of him? Do you have any opinion on him or not really?
Yeah, no, not really. I really haven't gotten too deep into the rest of the Summer League roster.
Yeah, he isn't really. I watched a little bit. He's not really a guy that intrigues me. He shot really well his junior year at Oklahoma State. Then he kind of dropped down. I think he's a 3 or a 4. But he had a little bit of a handle. He's a little athletic, but I don't see him really making any noise. He'll probably be a South Bay Laker. Stephon Branch from South Bay Lakers. He was the guy that played for the Lakers last year. And I think he's like 20 years old, wing 6'5", decent wingspan, decently athletic. Yeah, did you watch any South Bay that you kind of honed in on him, or you don't really have an opinion on him?
No, yeah, I really don't have an opinion on him. I really don't have an opinion on most of these guys.
Well, the only other big names on here are Xavier Raven Mays. I know he was a Florida State guard. He's been a guy that I've always seen his name past couple years.
Yeah. As I studied up on Jonathan Isaac, I saw his name up a lot. Scorer can create his own shot somewhat, or did somewhat effectively in college. Mm-hmm. Really streaky scorer. Probably not an NBA player.
Got you. Jonathan Williams from Gonzaga. Anything on Jonathan Williams or not really?
No.
I know he's sort of mobile and he's a decent shooter, but nothing like that was really gonna jump off the page. I really want Pope to really get any minutes that he might get, just because I want Pope on the roster somehow.
Right.
And then DeMarcus Holland was a guy that was on South Bay Lakers last year. He's not really much to know about. I know Nick King went to Middle Tennessee, and 6'8" with a 7-foot wingspan, or 6'7" with a 7-foot wingspan. Shot the ball decently well, but he's like apparently he has a really bad. Like he's not that athletic. I think he had something like a 25 max vertical, like something really bad. So he's not an athletic guy. I didn't really watch much of him. All I know is the 6'7" height and the 7-foot wingspan. I'm assuming you didn't look him up at all either, right?
No, yeah.
Got it. Also, the most important question: are we going back to back?
No.
No. Okay. We don't have enough scorers that we did last year.
We do not have enough talent,
especially when Josh Hart leaves. It's gonna be the Malik Newman show when it comes to scoring.
It's gonna be the Joe Barry show too.
Well, Caruso, Malik Newman, hopefully Bonga is there by then. Thomas Bryant, Mo, Svi, it's still gonna be a fun team, you know.
But this is definitely like a late a playoff team's summer league team. Like that's like the kind of team that we have.
Yeah, we don't like the Kings have something like
if the Suns don't win summer league, something went terribly wrong.
The Kings have Marvin Bagley, Scal I think is playing, Harry Giles is playing. That's gonna be interesting to watch.
I'm gonna watch that.
Frank Mason, De'Aaron Fox is gonna play.
Foxy.
I don't know who else.
Oh my gosh,
drafted.
We forgot like the biggest storyline of summer league.
What?
Lonzo Ball is ducking De'Aaron Fox
again. Oh my gosh!
But he's like look, Merge. This is getting serious now.
He really has not played De'Aaron Fox at all.
He's terrified
in his NBA season.
Guess what? I'm just you know what I'm calling it now. Lonzo never plays against De'Aaron Fox again.
Yo, that would be the greatest thing ever. If he like always was hurt or never always just sat out for something happening whenever he played De'Aaron Fox.
That's historic pettiness. That's historic.
That is historic pettiness. It would be so great. What else? No, Luka's not playing in the Mavs summer league team. Sad. The freaking Suns are like you said are gonna have a ridiculous summer league team. Okobo, Mikhail, DeAndre Ayton, probably Dragon Bender, Josh Jackson. I'm missing. Devon Reed, Tyler Ulis, maybe he might be cut. Tyler Ulis apparently. I'm missing anyone. Am I missing anyone? I think so.
No, I'm Josh Jackson.
Those are the biggest names. It's Okobo, Mikhail, Jackson, Bender, and Ayton.
What about Chris?
I don't think Chris is playing. I think Bender is though.
Wow.
So yeah, but yeah, I mean, even if they're not summer league champions, it's still a very very fun squad in my opinion, and one that I'm definitely looking forward to just to watch guys like Isaac Bonga and Svi and Mo and Malik Newman, Josh Hart, Malik Pope. Even Joel Berry for a little bit.
Joel Berry. Joel Berry will be like, oh, cool, it's Joel Berry.
Also, we only have 2 centers on our roster, and they're both probably going to start. So it's just going to be a lot of weird lineups, and I'm so here for it.
Yeah, I'm just so here for watching the rest of summer league, not the Lakers. I watch all the games, obviously, but it's only going to be the 3 games. After Josh Hart's gone, I'm just going to be sad because I'm like, there's no.
Well, we'll have a max 8 summer league games this year.
Right.
We have 3 in California, 3 in Sacramento, I should say. Which weirdly the Heat are playing in the California Classic, but I don't know.
That's something.
I don't know why this didn't make a 3-team thing, but
right.
We have those 3 games. I think the first game is against Sacramento, and I really want to see Thomas Bryant versus Marvin Bagley. I'm guessing Marvin's gonna be the 5, or actually Marvin might be the 3, depending on what Vlade wants to do.
Because Marvin Bagley's the next Kevin Durant.
He can play anywhere, man. And apparently, from what I heard, he was their number 1 pick regardless.
Honestly, it's just fodder. Like, it is what it is.
Yeah, it's so much fun watching the Kings just be the Kings, you know. Yeah, this is why I didn't want Luka going there. This is the one reason I did not want him going there, and they granted my wish. Was there any non-Laker stuff? Since we didn't talk about the draft, was there any non-Laker stuff that stood out to you?
Dallas just pulled off the heist of the century, and I don't think it's relatively close. I like Trae Young some. I did not have him that high on my board.
Well, obviously, I disagree with that, but I think both teams are gonna be happy with what they get.
I think we both agree that Doncic is on a different tier than
yes. Trae. I agree, but I think Trae's on the next tier. You know,
I think that gap's pretty big, and that pick doesn't make up the difference by a long shot, in my opinion.
If it's an Arlotto pick, who knows? But
yeah, but I just don't think
unless the pick is protected lotto, which would be fucking stupid if it is.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, I'm just not that high on Trae and the whole Hawk situation. So I feel like that was just an amazing trade. Feel bad from Mikal Bridges. It's the nature of the business, but you know that's kind of what happens.
Were you as happy as everyone else for the Lonnie Walker picture?
Merge. I jumped out of my seat. I lost it. Like it was absolutely incredible. When I saw the official picture, I was like, oh my god, that just happened. That cap is floating in the air. Oh my god, it was everything that I wanted it to be. Lonnie Walker. As soon as Lonnie Walker was drafted, I turned off the TV until the 25th pick, until the 23rd pick, because I was just so happy. Lonnie Walker, generational hair team guy, and he deserved. Spurs got a steal. There's no other way around it. Spurs are gonna spur.
What was the most surprising pick of the first round? Mine was not actually. I wouldn't say the Grayson Allen was surprising. No. I actually think the most surprising one was
that's probably Mo Wagner.
Dante.
Oh god.
Yeah, Dante. It was Dante at 17. The most surprising one for me.
That was
or Porter falling to 14. That was another one too.
Let's see. More surprising. Mo Bamba at 6.
Too high, too low?
Too low.
The first
the fit's just so odd. It's just bad.
Yeah, I feel bad for it. I mean, when you think about it, if they retain Aaron Gordon, Isaac, and Aaron Gordon are kind of intriguing. If Isaac learns to shoot next year or in the future, same with Gordon and same with Bamba. Even if Gordon goes, him and Isaac together at 4 or 5.
Yeah,
I really trust, at least defensively. I trust what's his name? Former Hornets coach. He's the coach there now. What's his name?
Clifford.
Yeah, Coach Clifford. He makes bad defensive teams good. I mean, he made a team with Al Jefferson at the starting 5 above average defensive team. So that guy can do like anything with the defense. It's just the offense because they still have no shooting. You know.
Yeah.
They still don't have a point guard, and they're probably gonna overpay for like Isaiah Thomas or Fred VanVleet or something. Even though I love VanVleet, but they'll give him like $15 million or something like that.
Yeah.
If you're a starting point guard, but yeah, it went relatively how I expected. The biggest things were the Mikal getting traded, Porter falling to 14, even though I get it. Lonnie dropping as far as he did surprised me. Obviously, the Mo Wagner things, Wagner pick surprised me. Aaron Holiday one didn't really surprise me because they pretty much just got their backup Darren Collison.
Yeah. Omari Spellman going in the first round was something.
It didn't really surprise me because I heard a few teams that were interested in him, and also the Lakers scouts actually wanted Spellman over Wagner, and Magic overruled them. So take that with what you made, because they're both. I mean, they're both in the same range for me. So I think I would like Spellman a little bit better because I think Spellman has more potential as a switcher.
Oh yeah. Why do we want to talk about the Warriors just getting Jacob Evans at 28?
Because it's what they do.
Also Robert Williams fell to 27.
Oh, I don't know why I forgot about that. That was probably the most surprising thing, him falling. And then the best thing was the next day hearing that he was asleep when he was supposed to have a conference call with the Celtics.
Right.
He just missed the whole thing because he was asleep.
Right.
That's hilarious to me, but
that's pretty funny.
But yeah, anything else? I want to talk about like other free agents that we can pick up, but everything is going to be so dictated by who we get at top.
Oh, Jerome Robinson went in the lottery.
That didn't surprise me because I heard about
that was legit though. But we all thought that was smoke though.
But I mean, I don't know. I loved the pick. I don't know what the Clippers did, honestly. Like, I loved the Shea pick, but getting another guy when they had like 6 other guards on their roster. Yeah, they traded Austin Rivers. Yeah,
I would have taken that Michael Porter swing.
Yeah, Milos is gonna probably get cut or be waived. Which, by the way, the Lakers, if the Lakers are looking for a backup point guard, I think you can get Milos as well. But Yeah, I think we'll wait until something happens to talk about lower level free agents, right?
Yeah, for sure. There's
Um,
still a lot of dominoes that need to fall
there's
for them.
so many dominoes. But yeah, anything else you wanted to bring up? Anything related with Kawhi, LeBron, Paul George, any of the young guys, any of the draft stuff? Anything else you want to bring up?
It's just it feels really good that the Lakers are gonna be really good,
Yeah,
and I think I'm not. I think it's just really legitimate, good vibes from the team,
good
and
vibes.
I'm hoping that the Lakers don't sell the farm just yet.
Yeah.
But
I've preached this the whole offseason. Depth is so important. You need to
right,
keep your depth.
right. But I just feel like at this point, the Lakers are just gonna really go for it, in my opinion. I feel like this is what the front office is meant to do. They're here to take the risks.
Yeah, but my thing with that, they've preached patience the whole year, and then even at the Svi and Mo Wagner press conference, they just preached patience and how they want to have sustainable success, and they don't want to. And I don't think they are, because I mean they offered Ingram and the pick first. Like that was their baseline. Like
Right. No, I'm not saying, but as far as like Ingram, Kuzma, and 2 first-round picks is selling the farm though. Like selling a good chunk of the farm.
I don't think it is, because I do that honestly. Like
right.
I'd be fine with that.
But you do lose
because you still have Lonzo, you still have Josh Hart. You can sign Julius back.
Right, but you would still be losing a good amount of depth and potential.
Oh yeah, I mean you're losing 2 probably starters, but you probably still have 3 other starters. I think the Lakers just have such a like a they have a lot of prospects.
Yeah,
and I'm not saying we need to trade them. I'd obviously love if we can just keep all of them and grow with them, but
yeah.
I think they have the I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but they have the luxury of being able to not dump, but trade a couple of guys and still keep the depth they have,
Yeah.
And like I said, there's a lot of potential vet minimum free agents that you can get. I think there's gonna be I think the market is gonna get really dry really quick for a lot of these guys, not just Julius, but a lot of guys.
I'm really interested in how the market goes as far as like who gets paid. Like there's some pretty good wings out there, like Bradley and Tyreek Evans, and it's interesting to see how much money they get. They get that what is it the
qualifying offer?
No, the
or the
what was it? The
mid-level.
Exception? Yeah, the mid-level. Yeah. And,
I wouldn't be surprised, and I think there's gonna be a lot of guys who end up taking the qualifying offer, or they get waived, or they get renounced, and they only sign for like a year and prove it type of thing.
Yeah,
and I think you can get some of those guys in LA maybe. If you do get those guys, and you're gonna need to fill up your roster with like 6 vet minimum guys. But I'm really excited. I feel like anything can happen at any moment. I'm like watching my back at every turn.
I mean, it's truly going to be a roller coaster ride.
It's going to be absolute man. It's already madness, man.
Yeah, and it's finally the Lakers' day of reckoning, for good or bad. Like this is when we find out the Lakers put their balls on the table, and we're going to see what happens.
I just can't wait to be able to be a asshole Laker fan again. That's what I'm looking forward to the most. If we do get those guys, I'm gonna be the biggest, most annoying Laker fan that you can be possible, because everyone wants to get their goddamn punches in right now. Well, you better punch quicker now, because it's coming. I don't know, man.
Merge. Make sure you get some sleep.
I'm trying to catch a fade. All right. We're gonna end it here. Expect another podcast sometime in the next couple of days. Clayton is coming back soon. I know you guys probably didn't miss him as much, but we need a third guy here.
I mean, do we really? When it's Clay, it's kind of more of a negative. It kind of feels like it's like 1.5.
We did definitely gain about 30 seconds from not having him here because of his size. I'm pretty sure the size added a good 30 seconds to every episode. So we gained those 30 seconds back. We're using them right now. Is there anything you have that you're writing that you wanna preview or
I kind of want to delay the scouting reports and I kind of just want to do deep dives on how they perform on summer league for Bonga and Wagner.
And I got you.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see like if the Lakers really do keep Malik Pope, which is kind of what I'm hoping for, and see how he plays out and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this is like probably the most interesting part of free agency as far as like how you really get to see like the full scope of how the NBA is played, the game of chess is, and how people move pieces and how they try to how agents play this whole game and stuff. And I feel pretty confident Paul George is coming here.
Mm-hmm.
LeBron, I feel confident as well.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the Lakers are probably gonna go for Kawhi, sell some of the assets, but retain insane value. So it's a good time to be a Laker fan. It's gonna be great to have a good Lakers team just in general, and that's what I'm here for.
It's gonna be different transitioning from being okay with close losses to expecting to win most.
Yeah, there's no more need to write to look at the next draft or anything like that. You just focus on the now. Each game matters more.
Instead of draft coverage, we're gonna do playoff coverage.
Which is weird. I'm not gonna be so that. Usually I'm making my big board by like the 65th game of the season.
Nasir Little, #1 player in the class.
Yeah. Well, hey, no, Merge. No, we are not doing this right now. We are not doing this right now. RJ Barrett is the #1 prospect in the next draft. The RJ Barrett bandwagon starts with me and
RJ Barrett #2, Nasir Little #1.
You're gonna be wrong with that. But that's fine, Merge. We all can't be great at the draft. It happens. But really, it's gonna be great to have a great Lakers team, a team that you're excited to root for, and that you know can win games, and to see what remaining assets develop into. So,
yeah. Hopefully, this is still this podcast is still relevant in the next 12 hours. Hopefully, something doesn't happen that just makes all this fall apart. But I'm pretty sure we covered all the bases of if we get Kawhi, if we don't get Kawhi, you know. So if there is a Kawhi trade in the next 48 hours, we'll be sure to have a podcast as soon as we can. Let's see what happens, man. It's gonna be an interesting week or two, like I said. So thank you for joining us. Subscribe to the podcast. You can follow me at Merge Christian. You can follow Nell on IDK _ Espinoza. You can follow Clayton at Lakers at 1949. You can follow the podcast and the blog at Under the Best Pod, all on Twitter. Be sure to find us on iTunes or SoundCloud or anywhere else you get podcasts. And we'll see you guys later. Peace.
Spurs, you are hyped.